Good morning. This is the last day of the summit. Can you believe it? 3 days. You've had 27 sessions. Well, you haven't watched all 27 yet, but there's 27 sessions available for you to watch. Everything focused at helping you grow your business. Today, especially on day 3, our focus is around growing your business. In other words, increasing turnover and increasing profits. Did you know that you had a secret weapon, or you have a secret weapon in your business? And I'm going to talk to you today about your secret weapon. In fact, you've got 3 secret weapons that I'm going to be discussing with you today. And the first one, sales. The second one, customer service. And your third secret weapon is marketing. Now, these things might sound daunting and might sound difficult for you. And you might say to yourself, I'm not a salesperson, or I don't know anything about marketing, or customer care, we try our best, but we're not quite there. So what I'd like to do today is I want to share with you my top 5 tips in each one of these areas. The top 5 or things that you can do in your practice, in your business, to increase your turnover and your profits. And I guarantee you that if you apply these 5 in your business, that you will see an increased turnover and an increase in profits. But let's start off by looking at some of the marketing tips that I have for you. The first one is to take a 10-minute drive. Now, what I'd like you to do here is I'd like you to get in your car, and I'd like you to drive from your practice 10 minutes in a northern direction, 10 minutes in a southern direction, that's from your practice, 10 minutes east and 10 minutes west. Then I want you to mark off on your map a circle in that 10-minute radius. Now, for some of you who are in rural areas, your 10 minutes might be a little bit further, but for most of you, that's your immediate customer base. That's your immediate pool of customers. And that's where you're going to be drawing most of your customers from. And that's the area that you need to focus on. And when you spend money on marketing, and when you spend money on campaigns, your campaigns need to focus around your 10-minute driving area. So that's the first tip I want you to do. Take that 10-minute drive. The second thing I'd like you to do is to look at that within that 10-minute drive. I want you to look at the local community. What is there in the local community that you can get involved with? If you look at schools in the area, what kind of schools are there in your area? Are there primary schools, nursery schools, high schools? And how can you as a business get involved in that school? Can you organize a visit to the school, or go and talk to the school about animals and animal cruelty? You would have seen one of the sessions this morning where we spoke to Lauren from Bark, and Bark is a charity organization in our area, and they do school visits. So you could partner with one of those, and you could go and speak in the local schools, and I guarantee you that the kids are going to go home on that day and talk to their parents about their local vet who came to the school to talk to them. And it doesn't have to take much time out of your calendar. There could be some clubs in your area, sports clubs especially. Look at getting involved in the sports clubs, maybe sponsoring jerseys or shirts for your local soccer team or basketball team, or whatever there is in your area. Local charities in your area as well, getting involved there, local churches. Look at stuff like your CPF groups or the police forums that are in your area. Get involved there, maybe offer them special rates or something like that. But know what's happening in your local community and get involved. Be known in your local community as the area vet of choice. Number 3, look at some of the local events that are happening. Now, I know in our area, we regularly have local events that are happening. You could get involved there. You could have a display at a local event, or you could sponsor something at a local event, or you could even do a bit of a shop at a local event. I mean, who knows? Just check out some of the events that are happening in your local area. You'll find them advertised in your local paper. You'll see the brochures going up at your supermarkets on the on the display boards and the broadcast boards. So get involved there and take part of what's happening in your local area. Number 4, this is quite a nice tip. New to the area, we have one of our vets who has put together a campaign, or he's put together a little leaflet, and he's gone and he's connected with the local estate agents, and he gives the local estate agent almost like a little gift pack that the local estate agent can give to anybody who's moving into the area, who's new to the area. So somebody might have recently bought a house in the area, or rented a premises in the area, become a tenant in your area, and your estate agent will know about that because they would have sold the property to them or signed them up on the lease. And if your local estate agent can pass your details on to that new person in the area and say, I just want to here's some information for you. This is our local vet of choice in the area. And here's his contact details, and here's a small little token just for you to remember him. And that could be a key ring or a fridge magnet or something that that person new to the area can hold on to. And it could even be a voucher, a welcome to the area voucher. They could hold on to it, and it could get them into your practice or into your business. Obviously, you will need to incentivize the estate agent in some way, and maybe you could give him a discount on like a discount voucher for the estate agent as well, or agents in the area. There's a lot of creative ways, and you could even pass leads on to them, and they pass leads on to you. It could be a bit of a joint venture, but that's a good one. Then number 5, my last marketing tip, is probably the most important one, and that's to build a solid database. Now, I think of my business, and I think of how I'm building my database, and I think of how many people who are on my database. You guys watching this are on my database, and hopefully I'll be communicating with you regularly, and who knows, that could turn into business or not, but it doesn't matter. It's all about positioning. So build a database of customers. Get your front end staff, or you can do that yourself, to take down accurate details of everybody visiting your store. You could run a raffle. You could do a Facebook marketing campaign where you are collecting people's information so that you can contact them in future. When we do raffles and competitions like that, we always take people's information. We get the email address, we get their cell phone number, and that gives us their contact details so that we can communicate to them on a later basis. Please remember, there are laws in place that prevent you from just randomly spamming people with irritating information. So when you do communicate to your database, you need to communicate to them in such a way that you don't irritate them, that you don't infringe on their privacy, and that you don't overload them with content that they don't need. So when you do get their forms or get their details, maybe just get them to fill out a consent or to tick a box that says, I agree to receive regular information or a newsletter from you. I think the most effective way of communicating with your database is through a newsletter. And when you communicate with your database, tell them about new products that have just been launched, or new ideas. Tell them about interesting things that are happening, monthly deals. You could have special holiday promotions that you're running. Tell them about that in your newsletter. And another thing that's quite effective as well when building a database, make sure you get the birthday of the person who you're putting on your list, the birthday of your customers, and give them a call or just send them an SMS on their birthday. Try and not send them one of those custom built birthday messages that sounds impersonal and sounds as if it's the same message you're sending to every single person. So try and customize it a little bit so that it feels as if it's really coming from you, and you know your customer by name and they're important to you. So those are my top 5 marketing tips. Let's move on and let's look at some of my top sales tips. Now, this especially is for front-end staff, and front-end staff, I think, often are not confident enough, or they don't believe that there are salespeople. You know what? Everybody's always selling. All of us. Everybody's always selling. Everything you do is about sales. Everything you say is about sales. You're selling your point of view. You're selling your opinion. You're selling your competence. You're selling your confidence. So there's no such thing as I'm not a salesperson or I'm not a good salesperson. We all constantly selling all the time. Here's some tips to make life a little bit easier in terms of selling. Number 1, drive and measure your goals. You need to have goals in place for your sales team or for your front-end staff. You need to have daily goals. You need to have a figure or something that you put up somewhere that everybody knows about and that they can reach for and they can try and achieve on a daily basis. And in fact, what I would suggest is that you take your goals and you every day, this needs to become a habit. This needs to be like a competition that we're driving towards getting our goals. And you measure your goals during the day. So let's say around lunchtime, you look at the salespeople and you say, all right, guys, how far away are we from our goals? What's the number? And when you look at a goal, it needs to be a number. It needs to be something that's clear, that's reachable, that people can attain. It can't be an out of reach goal. And you need to celebrate when you do reach your goals and when they do reach their goals. And you can use different ways of incentivizing your sales staff to, when they do reach their goals. But you, as the business owner or the practice manager, you need to be driving these goals every day. You need to be talking about them every day. You can't just put a goal up there in the beginning of the year and then the beginning of next year you reflect on it and nobody's reached the goal. It needs to be visible. It needs to be like a scoreboard. Remember in the previous session, I spoke about having a scoreboard in your business. So that's part of your sales goals. Number 2, holiday promotions and sales. Now, we miss out on this opportunity. We have so many different holidays, and it doesn't only need to be holidays in South Africa. You can choose holidays from all over the world. In fact, you can go into Google and you could look at, just look up what day is today, and you'll have National Coffee Day, and you'll have stuff like St. Patrick's Day, and you'll have all kinds of days that people celebrate. And you could use some of those ideas to run promotions in your store. We recently did a Friday the 13th promotion. So Friday the 13th for most people is a bit of a depressing and a worrisome day, but you can make that exciting and run a promotion where you give a 13% discount on Friday the 13th or something like that. But use what's happening, the calendar and what's happening daily to run promotions. And when I say daily, I don't mean run a promotion every single day, but run a monthly promotion with regards to the holiday that's on hand. I mean, we celebrate many holidays: Mother's Day, Father's Day, Grandparents' Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas, New Year. Our other cultures have days that they celebrate as well, and there's no reason why you can't run promotions and sales on those days. So look at your calendar and make it exciting. And when people come into your practice, they must wonder what's happening. And you can remember, when you're communicating with your database, you could tell them about your holiday promotions and sales that are happening. You can theme these holiday promotions as well with different colors in your store to make it exciting and vibrant for your customers walking into the store. Number 3, change your displays weekly. I know that some of the practices that I visit, that I've been visiting for years now, I walk into the practice and they've got the same stuff sitting on the counter year in and year out. The same stock that doesn't move and that nobody buys is sitting on the shelf collecting dust. So I would advise you to change your display weekly, especially the stuff that's at eye level, because when people come to the counter and they're speaking to you and you're busy filling in their details or logging into the system, they're looking around, and that stuff that's right at their eye level, that's the stuff that they're going to pick up, and that's the stuff that you need to be putting there. Now, stuff that you put on those kind of levels is your high turnover stuff, or you could put stuff that are high margin stuff. In other words, there's a huge profit, the little gimmicky things. I mean, think about it when you go to Pick and Pay or Checkers or Clicks or any of those stores for that matter. What do they have at the counter just before you pay? They've got all those little sweet thingies that everybody wants, and most of them they put at eye level for your kids, because they know that when your kids see that, they will nag you until you buy it, and you're right there to tell you're concentrating on the money and you're trying to think about whether you got everything you needed, and you quite easily give in to the temptation and buy those things. And those are all high margin items. They are items where the profit is upwards of 40%, sometimes 60, 70%. And we buy those items without thinking about it. So change your displays regularly. We in our stores, we use our merchants, in other words, our suppliers who come in to help us with the displays. And most of the times your sales reps are quite good at that, because remember, they travel around, they go into many stores, and they pick up a lot of ideas, and they can come in and help you just make your displays look fresh and vibrant. I know there were some competitions that were run a couple of months ago with some of our suppliers where they gave the practice with the best display a prize. And I was shocked to hear from them how few practices actually took part in that. The one practice that won the prize, they got a really nice voucher for the front end staff for the prize, the best display in the area. But there wasn't much competition. Hardly anybody took part in that. Number 4, move your stock around regularly. You know what we like to do is we like to put things in a certain space in our store. So our certain dog food goes in that corner, and our cat food goes on the other side. And we have these areas in our store where the same thing sits year in and year out, and we get used to that. And you know what happens in your mind when something is in the same place for a long period of time? Your brain actually stops seeing that thing. It blends in with the environment, and you stop seeing it. So when you move your stock around regularly, your customer comes in and they think that you've got new products, because they've never seen this product before. Meanwhile, you've just moved it from the back of the store to the front of the store, from the middle of the store to the side of the store. And now your customer gets to see that stock for the first time, because every time they come, everything just looks the same. So move your stock around regularly. I want to say regularly, I don't mean every day, but like once a month, just move something around. You don't have to rearrange your entire store every month, but move things around a little bit. Your high ticket items, or your highly sought after items, move them around a little bit, so it forces your customers to take a walk through your store and look at some of the other things that you have. And number 5, upsell and cross-sell. Now, I mean, we've all been to Wimpy, and we've all been to McDonald's, and not that we go there much anyway, but when you go there, they always ask you if you want to upsell. Would you like chips with that? Would you like a bigger chips with that? When you go to the movies, there's an upsell on your popcorn and your cold drink. You could have the regular size, or for slightly more, you could have an upsell. Now, upselling is something that you can do when it comes to food items. You can have a bigger bag. Would you like a bigger bag? It's on promotion, or 2 for the price of, or 3 for the price of 2, or something like that. But also cross-selling. I remember my wife came home the other day. She went to go and buy dog food, and she went into the vet, and she came home with these bowls, these dog food bowls for the dogs. And you might have seen them. It's like a plastic bowl, and they've got these plastic knobs in the middle. So your food lies around those plastic parts that stick up, and it's supposed to slow your dog down. when eating, cause the dog not to eat as fast as they normally do. Normally, our dogs just gulp their food down and it's gone. But my wife came home with these bowls. Now, she went to buy dog food, and the salesperson at the counter showed her these dogs and said, well, you've got big dogs. Have you seen these new bowls? They actually slow your dog down when eating, which helps with chewing of the food. It helps with digestion, and it forces the dog to take longer in eating its food. Oh, good for your dog. My wife came home with 2 bowls. So those kind of things, cross-selling. Teach yourself, get yourself in the habit of cross-selling. Don't be a pushy salesman. That's not what I'm talking about. But mention products that go together so that your customer knows what's out there. So those are my top 5 selling tips. Let's look at customer service tips. Now, customer service is something that you will agree with me that we don't see very often. And I think if you just look around some of the stores that you visit when you go to the mall, pay attention, pay special attention to the kind of service that you're receiving from the salesperson or the person sitting behind the till charging you. How often do you get decent and friendly customer service? Don't be like that. You need to be someone that's on the other side of that. That's on the other scale of bad customer service. So my top 5 customer service tips. Number 1, we got to get back to basics. And when I say back to basics, it's as simple as thank you and please. As simple as that. So when you speak into your customer, take time, be there for your customer. Pay attention when they're speaking to you. Pay attention to them when you're speaking to them. I've walked into practices where the staff know me because I go there regularly, and I work with them. And when I walk into the practice or into the store, the front end staff drop everything. They drop the customer they're busy with. And when I say drop, they change and they take their attention, their focus off the customer, and they turn to me and they greet me and they have a friendly comment or something and a little private conversation. But what about the customer they were busy with right there and then? Back to basics, just simple good manners. When you're busy with a customer, you pay attention to the customer. If the phone rings, you can ask them to please excuse you, and you take time. I mean, that extra split second of looking your customer in the eye, of please and thank you, goes a long way when it comes to customer service. Number 2, as much as possible, use your customer's name. I mean, you know a customer that's probably just phoned you and said they're coming in, so you know what their name is. And when they come along the corridor, walking up towards your entrance or your door, greet them by name. Look on the system quickly what their name is. And if you can, and I've seen this done before, you can even greet the pet by name. And I tell you, that goes a long way. If you can remember your customer's name, then you're really good. But if you can remember the pet's name, that's wow, that's way overboard. And I guarantee you, customers where you treat them with that kind of respect, they will be your customers and they'll be loyal customers forever. Number 3, keep your promises. And when I say keep your promises, if you say you're going to do something, then you do it. If you tell your customer, I'm going to call you back in 5 minutes, then you make sure you do it. If you say you're going to call them back by the end of the day, then you make sure you do it. You have a massive whiteboard up or something, but you make sure that if you promise your customer, if you make a promise to your customer, that you keep that promise. Customers get very upset. But, customers understand that there are problems and there's sometimes issues. Everybody gets it. But when you don't communicate or when you don't do what you said you're going to do, that's unacceptable. And I promise you, that's the biggest reason why customers badmouth you or leave you, is when you don't keep your promises. Number 4, let them know who you are. When you're speaking to them, tell them who you are. Remember, when you come in, my name is Carl. Ask for me and I'll help you. Let them know who you are. You could wear a name tag as well, but tell them who you are. Tell them, I'm Carl. And when you come again, you ask for me and I'll help you with that thing. Or if they phone, do the same. But they need to know who you are, and they need to also feel comfortable that you've taken care of them, you've taken charge over them, and you're going to be responsible for helping them going forward. And the last one there, and this one is really across the board, your 5-minute meetings. So with 5-minute meetings, every day, at the beginning of every day, you need to sit down with your staff and you need to have a quick 5-minute meeting. And in that 5-minute meeting, you quickly discuss things from the previous day that we need to follow up on. You discuss your goals for today. These are our goals for today, our targets. That, remember those sales targets we spoke about earlier? You quickly chat about those, and you talk about some challenges for the day. And that's it. Quick, in and out, 5 minutes for the day. Feedback from everyone, and off you go, and you carry on with your day. So these were my 5 tips for each one of those areas for you. Now, I have a challenge for you, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that I'm going to challenge you and I'm going to say, pick at least one in each one of those areas and apply that. No, I'm not. You need to take all 5. You need to take all 5 these tips in every one of these areas, and you need to go and apply this in your business today still. It's Friday today. So you know what? I'll let you think about it over the weekend. But Monday, when you get back to the store or back to your business, you need to have a plan on implementing each one of these 5 areas in your business. Now, I'm going to have some time over the next 2 weeks because the summit is now coming to an end. And if you want to, you're welcome to send me an email. There's my email address. It's carl@worldclasssummits.com. You're welcome to send me an email address, and I'll send you a link to my calendar. And we can schedule a quick free coaching session where we'll jump on a call. It'll be an online session, and very easy. And we'll talk about some of the challenges that you're facing, and let's see if I can help you in any area. I want to again commend you for investing in yourself, for buying a ticket for the summit, and for watching these sessions. Remember that knowledge only becomes useful when it's applied. So go in and apply the things that you've learned. You've already come a long way by just signing up for this conference and then attending these sessions. Go back to the sessions as many times as you can. Make notes, learn from them. And you know what I find? The best way for me to learn is when I teach others. So take some of the things that you've learned during the summit, some of the things you might already know, but go and teach those people who work with and for you. Enjoy the last few sessions. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you soon.